Greetings everyone. Here we are on the third day of December. I have this piece of chocolate to eat from this advent calendar. And hopefully this one will actually upload on time. So we're just continuing with more doodling. And I'm going to add to my Grinch by putting in something else. Now, I just sort of thought of this. I would have been better off having this over just a little bit further. My Grinch. But we're going to try to come up with something else here, which I think could be kind of fun too. So let's see how it goes. Now, I often like to do my own interpretation of these kinds of things, which sounds like a really nice way of saying it may not be perfectly accurate, I suppose. Anyway, not a cop-out. I do kind of do my own version of things anyway, so. I should admit, though, if I do focus, I can probably come up with pretty decent looking things. And, yeah. I don't know if you're picking up what I'm putting down right now, but I'm doing a sort of a companion of sorts instead of like Max the dog. I'm going to scribble in something else here. Now, you'll often hear me talk about how I treat these sketchbooks, where I'm not really very often doing like really finished things in them. That's my own thing, mind you. That's like, there are people that enjoy finished artwork in their sketchbooks. I'm just not one of them. I like to put ideas in sketchbooks. Do as you wish, though. The sketchbook is where I like to make my mistakes, if that makes sense. Or the mistakes I live with. How about that? Is that a better thing to say? Which I think is kind of fun. And for some reason, sketching in ink for me is more fun in a sketchbook. I will put time into pencil, using different colors or what have you, just to get certain lines, or, you know, gives you the ability to move things in the background or that kind of thing. So, I mean, there's a benefit, especially if it's like a paid thing. If you're getting paid to do it, you're not really going to just do stuff. So, yeah. trying to think of where I'm putting limbs and whatnot. So much like Ethan the Grinch, this character, if you're recognizing who it might be, is also green. Oh, delightful. What else can you tell me? Well, much like the Grinch, this character wasn't always really pleasant to be around. Interesting, interesting. It's probably pretty obvious what I got going on here. This guy has a pretty complex city, maybe, possibly. Very roomy sort of place where he lives. He's kind of grumpy most of the time. And most of the time that's sort of understandable because, you know, there's usually noise on the street where he's where he lives. And he lives, of course, in a garbage can. We're also giving this character a lightsaber as well. This one's going to be set up a little bit differently, though. I'm wondering, though, maybe same color blade? Maybe? I don't know. Stuff's kind of fun. Try to come up with something a little unusual. That's interesting. Let us go. Just looking through some different colors, see what I might like. Well, we're going to go with the start of the same color that the Grinch has. But this one, maybe we'll put like hints of other colors in it or something like that. A little steam coming off of that thing, maybe. bit of that bluish light come through on this character a little bit. Pick up some in the eyes. Be a hint on the tongue, hint on the mouth here, let's say. A little bit on the arm. We'll get a little bit more on the face here. And then not really going to pick up a lot from the other lightsaber, but we're going to put some little highlights there just for fun. Maybe some here. But for the most part, they're not really illuminating each other. That's fun. Now we're going to bring out the green. We'll do some of the shadow works. So that is fun. We'll go back in, of course, after. Define some of these lines a bit more. But we're going to just kind of do this as a bit of a quick doodle and color. So I don't know if you folks have had an opportunity to watch some of my other videos. It all kind of started with Inktober. That's really just sort of a fun way to get that prompt. So every day you have sort of a different challenge. I enjoyed that. As far as social media goes, that was basically my start in social media. So anything that I would have done beforehand, really, it was just well, I wasn't on social media. All right. We'll lightly color some of this glorious Muppet fur. Now, because this side is more in the dark, it'll be a bit more dark over here, even though some of that wonderful blue light from the lightsabers might drift through the fur. putting in some eyebrow here, going with a darker brown to start, and then a little more reddish after the fact. Just to see how it goes. Make sure that we know it's not a harsh expression. Now we'll head back in and we'll do some outlining in that coloring book style that I enjoy. I like to see my outlines. Not in everything, but a lot of things. Make sure that we know where a lot of the face is. So I hope you're drawing along with me. This is a fun opportunity to check out the length of the video, and then you know how much time you'll spend with me on this drawing. Sometimes you might want to do an hour or two. Well, there are other videos if that suits you to do that much. We're going to try to differentiate each arm a little bit. This one here will be a little more shadow. Split apart the fingers. We'll darken that in a little bit so that we know it's a separate hand. Some darker lines away from the light of the lightsaber. See if it ruins it a little bit or not. Now we'll fill in the pupils just a little bit. The irises. If this seems interesting, or this kind of stuff, feel free to subscribe. You won't really ask or hear me ask that often. You don't have to subscribe. It's fun if you do. And if you have things you'd like to see me doodle out, well, you know, you can comment. That would be cool as well. We're just going back over to this one here to add some darker lines to to our friend Ethan, aka the Grinch, although I think that's officially his last name, honestly enough. Tooth Stain is a kind of an interesting name to have, though. Okay. Do a quick little dip of the brush, which is a pen, and I'm such a big fan of letters, not just, individual letters like letters and numbers, as in the symbols, but writing letters, which is pretty fun to do. How weird is this? They're not related to each other at all. I feel like I just came up with a little tagline too. Just thinking about it. When you have a change of heart, go green or something like that. I don't know. Not my best work. Now, should it be Grinch and like ampersand here, or Grinch and there? I should have put Grouch over there possibly. Yeah. Let's go right here then. Well, I don't mind that. Next, we are going to try a little bit of a darker pink, I think. I don't mind that. Hides a little bit. And here is where we take the opportunity to see if we're going to perhaps ruin it which is one of my favorite things after the fact. So I'm going to widen out the lightsaber just a little bit on each side. That's always sort of the toughest thing, is to try to figure out when to leave it alone. But we don't have to leave it alone. That's the fun thing in my sketchbook. When I hold the pen, I do as I wish. This is the terrible thing. I'm going to see what happens if we just put in a dark background. Oh no, says some of you. Don't do that. Well, yes, we are. We are going to do that. Get right up here by the sword. Now, something that's interesting is if you've ever used any professional digital tools, it is a great way to do your background, like just fill in stuff. And if you don't like it, well then you just edit it out instantly. Whereas if you work with ink, it's like, well, if you do it, that's how it goes. Otherwise, you have to get pretty good with cutting it out and then laying it on a separate background, which I've done. Sort of like most of the word type stuff, the speech bubbles, you try not to put those in on top of your original artwork, like on the same page, so to speak. You would do those separate. It just makes it easier to move them around. This kind of stuff is time consuming though. But we don't mind. One time I was at Universal Studios, Florida, and I had a chance to meet up with the Grinch. That was kind of funny. But would you believe the character that I got the biggest kick out of was the Lorax? That was way funnier to me. I think it was like one of the hottest days. And to meet this furry creature on a day that, yeah, if you didn't have air conditioning, you would regret it. That was fun. I enjoyed that. Don't know what the Lorax thought of it though. Hopefully got a little kick out of the day. Like whatever the kids around would react to. So hopefully that's fun for the people in those character experiences. Next, let's go work on this one, this side a little bit here. Create a little bit of space around the words. Of course, you probably noticed that I'm working on top of a turntable. I like to draw at a bit of an angle, if at all possible, and at the same time, I like to move the paper around too. And this is just a really easy way to do that. So this is just for entertainment purposes only, as some might say. Just some doodling. I wonder if I'm kind of losing a little bit of ink. I don't know how much are in these pens. I mean, it's tough to get really good saturation quickly without wrecking the little brush itself. I like to keep a decent point on my brushes, so I'm taking it easy as much as I can, even though these are pretty inexpensive. I try to take care of the stuff. I try not to be wasteful. Let's try to get some of this looked after, so we know roughly where we want certain things to be. As soon as we finish this background, then we'll be done of this video for the day. Try to keep some of that line messy looking. Move a little slower. A little bit more of that ink come out. Wherever you are, do you have different seasons? Do you have to change the tires on vehicles or change, your outfits to match the weather conditions other than just rainy days? Do you get snow is what I'm getting at. Now, some people at Christmas time like to get snow. Admittedly, from my own childhood, I like snow on Christmas Eve, Christmas morning, and I want it all done with no more snow after, let's say, 2 o'clock in the afternoon. That's it. I don't want any more. I don't want it for New Year's. I don't want it. So, although I'm not there yet, I would gladly be a snowbird and go somewhere warm for the winter. But those places I wouldn't want to live year-round generally. Now, filling in the final gap, for some people this is like super satisfying. But for me, it's just an end of tedious work. Like, honestly, if I were so inclined, I could have grabbed a piece of construction paper, cut out these figures, and glued them on. And you know what? I'll keep that in mind for the next time, because, wow, this takes a while to do. Here we go. Oh man. Oh, goody gumdrops. We did it. Yeah. Let's take care of that bubble just a little bit. Well, folks, I do believe that is it. I'll extend the body and arms of these two characters just enough. There you go. Although I have not said it out loud, I said Grouch. I did not say Oscar. So this is Oscar and Ethan with their change of heart, Jedi Masters. I think somewhere along the way I probably said that I was even considering putting a hint of purple. And I'm going to put a little hint of purple, little sparklies. In Oscar's sword, his saber. Cool beans. No. We'll drop a little bit under his eyes here. A little bit under the eyebrow. I think that's it, folks. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me for 45 minutes. I do believe that is it for now. And yeah, I think that's kind of fun. I haven't looked up any of this stuff to find out if anyone else has done a Jedi version of these two characters. And yeah, no, today I changed the tires on my vehicle for winter tires. It's hard to get brake dust out from under your fingernails, but overall I think this is pretty fun. I hope you folks, if you drew along with me, I hope you also had some fun, and we'll see you again at some point in the future.